I've made several videos and had many interviews about the war in Ukraine. I've been diplomatic, unbiased, even polite. But it's very frustrating that people, even my friends and family from America, listen to Western propaganda that they absolutely know is not true, and then act confused when I tell them the truth. And they say, well, you know, Jeff, there's two sides to every story. So now I'm going to try to explain everything so short, so easy, so simple, so easy to understand that even a 5-year-old child can comprehend what I'm saying. But first, it's important to include what I'm about to say is from 13 different trips to Donbass, talking to the people in the middle of this conflict. I'm simply retelling the accounts of the people living in this nightmare. This is not Western propaganda. This is not even Russian media or Russian propaganda. This is from the people living this nightmare. This is from the people living in this hell. I mentioned I'm doing this video out of frustration of the truth falling on deaf ears, while Western propaganda buries the suffering of the people of Donbass, the soldiers dying, and even ordinary citizens of Ukraine. But I have another reason. I'm fucking pissed off. I've lost my 4th friend in this conflict. My friend, 20 years old, engaged to be married, my student. He had his whole life in front of him. So now I say to you, Zelensky and your fucking fascist government, fuck you America and NATO for starting this war and not allowing it to end. Fuck you. All right, so let's do a timeline. In 2014, the CIA instituted a coup. Viktor Yanukovych, the democratically elected leader of Ukraine, was thrown out by the CIA and by the United States. And in his place was installed a stooge, and later Zelensky put into place by the United States. The eastern republics of Donetsk and Lugansk, who did not want to be part of NATO, did not want to be part of the European Union, voted for independence. And they voted by 93 and 94% respectively to be independent, not part of Ukraine. I went there in 2016, and for 10 days I heard the people speak about this. Russia did not invade. Ukraine invaded us. Ukraine, like, killing its own people. They're killing us. They're taking our families. We're trying to conscript our children, and if they don't allow, then we're being killed. So it's an absolute ethnic cleansing. For 10 years, this has been going on, cleansing the people of Donbass, and the world has been silent. During this time, the Minsk I and Minsk II agreements were signed by NATO, by the United States, by Ukraine and Russia, agreeing for peace, to be this conflict, to avoid the conflict, to be worked out democratically. But how do we know this? This is not my words. Angela Merkel, then the Chancellor of Germany, came out and said, like in her podcast now, said, hey, look, this was all a ploy to get Russia to like relax and to think that we wanted to work this out diplomatically, when in fact we used this time when Russia was relaxed to supply Ukraine with weapons. That we wanted to supply with the weapons because we knew a war was coming. We wanted this war, and we wanted Ukraine to be ready. So she's admitting, this is the leader of Germany, basically the leader of the most powerful country in Europe, saying, yeah, we were supplying Ukraine, and that was the whole ploy, and we didn't want peace in the beginning. Finally, Russia came to the aid of the people of Donbass. But 8 years after this conflict had started, 8 years. So for 8 years, this ethnic cleansing went on until Russia invaded. But that's all the people hear about now, is that Russia invaded Ukraine. This is not what happened. The people of Donbass pleaded, asked, and had a vote of independence and asked for Russia's help. And at this point, Russia only supplied Donbass with humanitarian aid. Only after 8 years did they come to their aid militarily. Within several weeks of Russia's intervention in this war, Zelensky and Putin had a verbal agreement to end the conflict two times, within 7 weeks, the first time, Boris Johnson, then the head of Great Britain, flew to Kiev and told Zelensky, you will not make an agreement with Russia. You will not stop this war. And then the United States, the second time they had an agreement, they came in and said, nope, Zelensky, if you want any help from us, you're not going to make an agreement with Putin. They wanted this war. The United States and NATO wanted this war, especially the United States. So why? Why did they want this war? The United States wants to hurt Russia. How? They want to expand their own hegemony. The U.S. wants control of the gas and oil manufacturers. They want their gas and oil manufacturers to make money. The United States had made billions and billions and billions of dollars since this conflict started, especially with the destruction of the Nord 2 pipeline. And the United States is supposed to be the friends of NATO, of the NATO countries of Europe. Yes? Well, after the Nord 2 pipeline, which Russia supplied Europe with gas, cheap gas. After this was destroyed by Ukraine and the United States says, "Oh, Europe, okay, you don't have gas, you don't have cheap gas anymore. Hey, we'll come to your rescue. We're your friend. We'll sell you gas." Yeah, they're selling them gas at 4 times what they were paying to Russia. 4 times. So these companies are making billions and billions of dollars off the suffering of the people of Europe who are going through a recession right now because they can't supply. They don't have enough money to supply energy to their companies and to ordinary households. So what's going on right now? This is what people don't understand. Zelensky has sold Ukraine to 3 U.S. companies for reconstruction. Ukraine is destroyed. No matter who wins this war, Ukraine is destroyed. Everybody agrees on that. It needs reconstruction. And America doesn't even care if they're wanting to hurt Russia right now. They're hurting them economically, like having their soldiers killed. They're hurting their military. They're wanting to hurt Russia. No U.S. soldiers are being lost, and U.S. companies are making billions of dollars. The U.S. is very happy with what's going on right now. So Russia right now is the one suffering. Ukraine is suffering. But the people don't understand is that the people, the ordinary citizens of Ukraine, are also suffering a lot. And this is how. Zelensky sold Ukraine to 3 U.S. companies for reconstruction. After this war, it needs to be reconstruction. Ukraine is so in debt. They can't pay for reconstruction. 3 companies are going to come in and take all the utilities. They're going to take the resources, the oil, the gas, the minerals, the agriculture. They're going to be in control of the schooling, even the penal system, the transportation system. They're going to control all this. They're going to hire and fire and rework, like who works there, rework everything. And who's going to do this? 1, Goldman Sachs. 2, BlackRock. And 3, Morgan Chase. These 3 American companies have bought Ukraine from Zelensky. How do I know this? Because Zelensky announced this in a big press conference. He had these 3 CEOs of these companies, and he announced, he goes, guys, I have good news for you. After this war is over, the reconstruction has already been financed by our friends from Goldman Sachs, Morgan Chase, and BlackRock. Well, what he didn't say is that he basically sold Ukraine to these 3 countries because they don't have the money to pay for reconstruction. So these countries are going to take over all the natural resources and take over all the institutions of Ukraine. And at the same time, Zelensky erased labor laws, environmental laws, and essentially sold the Ukrainian people into slavery for these 3 American corporations. He sold the people who are now going to be working with not a minimum wage. The 14 and 13-year-olds are going to be working. Old people are not going to have their pensions cut. And the people of Ukraine are going to be basically at the mercy of these 3 American companies wanting to make profit off them. So the next time you wave your blue and yellow Ukrainian flag and say, I support Ukraine, be supporting like democracy. Well, of course, there's no democracy. I say to you, your stupidity has led you to be like sheep, easily tricked to follow the herd, and you are helping destroy Ukraine. So I say to you, you are to blame for all the thousands of people being killed and the untold thousands and being killed in Donbass and the suffering going on. So I say, fuck you too.